The other thing, of course, that EEG is used for in a clinical setting is to determine whether somebody is experiencing seizure activity. And seizure activity, is a component of the disorder known as epilepsy, is basically inappropriate, sort of very continuous, often significant, like high levels of activity of firing that again, very high amplitude, very, very rapid. In this case, and it's associated with very little information processing. So whatever the normal functional role of that region that is experiencing the seizure is, it will not be capable of carrying it out when this very high amplitude, when all the neurons are firing at once. It doesn't give you the sort of information, the proper information flow to carry out any kind of appropriate sensory or motor processing. So to give you a sense, some seizures can be focal, which means the inappropriate sort of electrical firing is occurring in a very specific location. It can then, of course, start to influence other areas because, the brain is heavily interconnected. So if inappropriate activity is occurring in one location, it may start to spread to other locations. Or you can get what's called a generalized seizure, which means a lot of different areas are actually sort of firing simultaneously. And this is the kind that is associated with sort of a grand mal seizure, where people fall on the ground and they absolutely have no ability to control their body or to carry out any kind of normal cognition. So typically, if you see sort of a focal seizure in a particular region, I'm going to give you a little introduction to how this might be utilized here or viewed. So basically, first of all, if you look along here, this shows you the various electrodes that you're recording these waveforms from. And there are, for example, F is for frontal and T is for temporal. You'll also see that there are numbers that follow those letters, and the odd numbers refer to electrodes that are located on the left side of the cerebrum, of the head, and the even ones are from the right side. So here, if you look closely, right, there's a lot of tracings here, but you can see this sort of spike followed by a slow wave, right? That's the sign of a seizure spike, basically. And you can see it's rather focal in this case, right? It's like located around temporal and frontal regions right here. And it's F7T3, right, for example. That's on the left side. So it gives you a little sense when Wilder Penfield is going to go in and perform surgery on somebody, they might have some information about where the inappropriate electrical activity is actually occurring before they start. On this other side, you can see really quite clear demonstration of a lot of spike and slow wave activity occurring on multiple electrodes, right? So this is a much more generalized seizure that's going to be much more visible in terms of its sort of functional consequences.